Hi guys! So it's been a while since I did a Q&A and I posted a picture on my Instagram and asked you guys to ask me whatever questions you had on that picture. I also posted on my Facebook and on Twitter, and then I've been collecting questions that you guys have been asking me over emails the last couple of months as well. So thank you to all of you who took the time to ask a question. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should do that because for these videos, that's where I get the bulk of my questions, and I just post a picture and say, ask me your questions, I'm gonna do a video, and that's how that goes down. So go follow me on Instagram. Okay, so I have my questions here, and I'm just gonna go in order as to how they were asked. So the first question, what pre-workout do you drink? So I actually make my own pre-workout, and I have the recipe for that in a vlog that I did a while back, but it has all the ingredients listed in the description box, and then also I list them on camera. So I will make sure I link that down below for you, but it has like a bunch of amino acids. I use powdered caffeine, and it tastes gross because it's just a bunch of powdered like vitamins and minerals and amino acids, and it's not super tasty. Like a lot of pre-workouts that you buy like at GNC have crazy flavorings in them, and it makes them taste good. So I use my own flavorings. These guys right here. These are the Fit and Active line from Aldi. They're like $2 a piece, and they're like the little water squirters. This is strawberry watermelon, orange tangerine, and then my favorite, raspberry lemonade. And they don't have any artificial dyes in them, which is the main reason why I stay away from commercial pre-workouts. So they're colored with things like beta carotene, like natural coloring. The red ones are colored with vegetable juice, so I assume like beet juices. And the only downfall to these is they are sweetened with sucralose, but I just use a little tiny bit just to make my pre-workout drinkable, and I don't put a ton of water in there. I only put like 2 to 3 ounces, so I put like a little squirt and I take it down like a shot. And that's how I make my pre-workouts. Moving on. How old are you and what sign? I assume you're asking, what is it even called? Like a horoscope sign? You're so beautiful and I love your personality. Thank you, that is so sweet. You guys are the best. I am 25. My birthday is in February and my sign is Aquarius. People have told me that I embody an Aquarius. I have to be honest, I don't really know that much about horoscopes, or there's another word for it. I know there is. I probably sound like really dumb right now. I just, like, I don't dislike that stuff. I'm just not educated about that kind of stuff. I think it's really interesting, but I have a lot of friends that are super into it, and they tell me that I am very Aquarius-like. Hopefully that's a good thing. But yeah, my birthday's in February, so I will be turning 26 here in a couple months. How much weight have you lost since recovering from foot surgery? Well, thank you, because that means that you've watched my other vlogs and you know that I had ankle surgery. So kudos to you. But I, at my heaviest, was in the 170s. The highest I remember is 178, but I kind of stopped weighing myself for a while because I felt terrible, and I knew that I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I'm not saying that like 178 is an unhealthy weight for everybody. Just for me, it's not where I wanted to be. And I didn't like seeing that on the scale, so I literally stopped weighing myself until I had the ability to get back in the gym and control my own food again. So that's the highest number that I remember seeing, but it's just a number also. You have to remember that. Everybody's different. People are different heights. People carry different amounts of muscle. People have more or less hair. I don't know. Everyone like responds to weight differently. I will tell you I'm 5'9", so I'm like on the taller side for a female, but I am sitting at today 154, so I am more than 20 pounds lower than my highest weight ever, if that makes sense. But I've had a ton of ups and downs in between. It wasn't like a straight shot down from like 178 to 154. I had ankle surgery in 2010. It is now 2015. So in those 5 years, I've fluctuated like crazy. Just in the last year, I've seen 168 on the scale. So I do not by any means like have a destination weight or goal weight. I think that being healthy is most important, and weight is just that, it's a number. With that, I also had a question about my physique progress, because if you guys watched my update, you've heard that I am competing next spring. I am not in like my prep quite yet for that. I basically like did a mini prep, and right now I'm in a maintenance place, which is really nice because I get to eat a lot more food, my calories are upped, and my workouts are still like pretty intense, but I get to eat more and I love that. I'm like all about that. I had a hard time finding a before picture for this because, like I said, I fluctuated a lot in the last 5 years post ankle surgery, but I found one that is like a good average picture for me, that where I was before I really started to lose weight and before I started to like track food. So I'm gonna insert that here. And then this is a picture that was taken this week. And like I said, I'm sitting at 154 right now. I don't know what I weighed in that first picture just because I like didn't really weigh myself that much. And I don't honestly recall because that was taken a good 3-ish years ago. But yeah, that's like where I averagely was then to where I am today. And then I am going to start like a serious prep in early 2016, and I'll definitely be doing more physique updates for you guys with that, but for right now, like I said, I'm in a maintenance place, so I'm not changing a whole lot. What got you interested in the fitness lifestyle? It was definitely not an overnight change. It progressed over time. If you guys have watched some of my older videos, especially my first Q&A, I talk about my high school sports experience. I've always been into athletics. I've always been in some sort of sport. Swimming was my main sport in high school. And with that, we also lifted weights and we did like dry land stuff. So it wasn't just swimming. So I was always into athletics. Fitness though is definitely a different beast, and fitness in the way that I think that you are talking about, you're saying like competitions, counting macros, that sort of thing. But it was a slow progression. Out of high school, I wanted to stay active and I wanted to have something to do that was like fitness related. So in college, I started lifting weights a lot more seriously than I ever had before, and I fell in love with it. It's something that I felt confident doing. There's a lot of things that I am like super awkward at, like dancing. What dance did people do in 1776? Independence! Nah. Playing anything that involves a ball. We're talking soccer, softball, volleyball. I'm not good at those type of things. I have an instinct to run away from balls or flying objects that are coming at me, not to catch or hit or whatever them. Like, I just am not good at that kind of stuff. I'm also super uncoordinated, so when it comes to things like soccer, I just trip over the ball. And then I had my ankle issue, which I couldn't run on it, so anything that involved running was out for me. So I found weightlifting, thank goodness, because that was the best thing going for me at the time. I've always held a good amount of muscle. Like I said, I was a swimmer, so I've always had like really broad, strong shoulders, and I just naturally picked up like bench pressing and military press and things like that. I was really naturally good at. And then I learned how to do everything else. So like I had to learn how to deadlift and squat, and everybody has a day one in the gym. And I did too. So I learned those things over years. I'm so happy I did because I love it. Now lifting is my favorite part of my day. So I had the lifting side down to it and the gym side down to it, but my nutrition was a mess. Kind of like most college students, I ate like crap. Like my favorite thing was mac and cheese from a box. Not gonna name any brand names, but I love that stuff. And I would eat that for lunch like every single day. So then when I started getting into the nutrition side, I just fell into the low carb world, which is where I stayed for a really, really long time until recently. When I started getting more interested in the show side of things, I had to get more interested in the macro side of things and start working carbs back in. And if you guys watch my latest update video, I talk a lot about that. But it's funny because when I first discovered If It Fits Your Macros, I was like, this is a joke. These people eat garbage. Like, you might get the physique that you want, but you're gonna end up doing some harm to your body in the process. So I do follow like a flexible dieting approach and If It Fits Your Macros approach, but I do it cleanly. If you watch my what I eat in a day, you see that I try to focus on whole 1-ingredient foods first. Where did you get your scale? So I use a food scale all the time, every single day. I have multiple food scales. The one that I use the most is the one that you guys see in my videos that has the blue light. That one actually is not made anymore. That was a Martha Stewart scale that I got for my husband for a Valentine's gift literally like 5 years ago. And it's not made anymore. But I do have a few other ones that I use on a regular basis. And I will make sure that I link a couple of my favorites down below for you to check them out. But my favorite scales always have the 2 pieces. So the glass on top and then the separate like weighing station, if that makes sense. Because the flat ones, I don't like the ones that don't have buttons. That sounds really weird, but I like to be able to push a button. I don't like the flat ones because the buttons are flat and it doesn't register sometimes, and sometimes you have to like hold your finger on it, and it's just really frustrating to me personally. And the ones that have 2 pieces, like the ones that have the top that's glass and the bottom usually have buttons that you can physically press. So I'll make sure I link a couple food scales down below for you guys to check out. It's always good to have one and then a backup, especially if there's 2 of you in your house that use them. And then if you're someone who sometimes travels, I like to bring one with me. So we always have at least 2 food scales available at my house at any given time. But that's gonna wrap up this Q&A. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you tune into my next video because I have an announcement and a giveaway that's gonna happen. So don't miss that one. It'll be up this weekend. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. My lips are like super dried out because I use a lip brush for my lipstick. And it's weird, but I store my brushes in salt and it like fell into the salt. And now my lips taste like salt and they're all dried and gross. Okay, so we're just gonna start with the I actually make my own pre-workouts. Hold on a second. Okay. And it tastes... Sorry. Buzzy, you gonna join the party? I'm just gonna hang out right there and stare at me. You're cute. What's out there, Buzzman? So behind me is a hole in our house. It's supposed to be a swimming pool, but it's empty. And Buzz just looks into it all day long, like something's gonna jump out and attack him. It's hysterical. He'll stand at that window for like an hour.